All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Salon Quarantine Speakeasy. This is episode number 23, and today is February 6th, 2021. So glad that you're joining us. My name is Patrick Soluri. I am the head instigator at Prohibition Productions, and here we are once again. Hard to believe. We are now in February. Hopefully we are past a lot of the drama from the election. Hopefully we're starting to move in a more positive way towards vaccination. Really hoping that in the next couple of months things are really going to change and hopefully get back gradually to normal. We can't wait to be doing events with bands in public with people there. It's still probably months and months away. But we really hope that maybe in the spring we'll be able to start doing some outdoor stuff, spring or summer. We have to see how that goes, but we'll definitely be keeping you up to date on that. You can follow all of what we're doing on our website and our Facebook. It's prohibitionproductions.com. You know, in normal times, we produce 120 live events a year at all kinds of venues around New York City. Obviously, we're not doing that now. We haven't been doing that for a very, very long time. But we've put together this show for you tonight. Hard to believe, episode 23. We continue to bring up some of our favorite performers that we have. Tonight are a whole bunch of them. And, you know, we've got plans to have shows all the way through the spring, at least until probably April. So that's all on our website as well. I'll tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later, but I just want to give you a little rundown on who's going to be on the show today. We're going to have Mr. CASEY MacGill joining us live from the West Coast. Then we have our favorite power couple, DEWITT FLEMING Jr. and JENNIE HARNEY-FLEMING, and they're going to be doing some tapping and singing. And then a wonderful band, Mimi and the Pod Brothers, are going to be on, and we also are going to do our food segment called the Lindy Kitchen, and that's going to feature Olivia Lau and Gordon Au from the Grand Street Stompers, and they're going to be doing a little Grand Street stomping downtown, and then I've done a little video about making a wonderful risotto. So Lindy Kitchen, and then we're going to bring up Shelly Watson, who was our wonderful MC and singer and just crazy wonderful. We love her so much, but she is now living outside of the city, so we're going to be actually going to her live as well. We're very excited to talk to her, see what she's up to. And then we're going to wrap up the show and go into our after party. So if you are on Zoom, you can join us on video. If you would like to join, just sign up for the Zoom and you'll be able to join on video at the very end. I'll be DJing for you tonight. And we'll be spinning all kinds of tunes a little bit later. So we're planning that the show is going to be about 7 to 9, after party around 9 o'clock or so. And if it's your first time here, we basically humbly ask for donations, which we then collect on behalf of all the musicians and performers tonight, and then we distribute them amongst everyone that you're seeing tonight. And you can make those donations through PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. And can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Okay. Again, you can make those payments through donations through PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. And we can do those all the way through actually next Sunday, February 14th. So a lot of folks end up watching the show after the fact, either on Facebook or on YouTube. So you can definitely send all those donations at any point in the next week, and then we'll distribute that amongst all of our performers. And we appreciate everyone that's already sent in some donations. Please let us know where you're watching from. If you're on Zoom, there's the chat, which will be showing up on the side, and you can let us know where you're watching from. And we always get a wonderful mix of folks from all over. And if you have any questions, you can send it that way, and we'll try and answer them and direct them to the performers and whatnot. So why don't we get started? I'm very excited to bring our first guest to us. He's going to be live today. He's coming from Tacoma in Washington. His name is CASEY MacGill, and he's a phenomenal musician, ukulele, singer, band leader. I first got to know him way back in 99, 2000 when he was the music director, band leader on the Swing musical on Broadway. And that also has a nice connection with our community, a couple of dancer friends. Um, Sam and Brian are the dance captains on that show when it was touring in the last few years, and Casey just has some original tunes on there. Also, way back when Prohibition Productions started at the piano store, which was my brother was running, Casey used to come down and perform, and he would say that he would basically perform on Broadway and at the piano store, and that was the beginning of Prohibition Productions. And we're excited to have him here. So let's go to Casey live now. He is coming to us from Tacoma in Washington. How's it going, Casey?
Good, Patrick. Good to see you. Have you got me? There we are.
There you are.
Yeah. Great to see you, and thank you so much for having me on board today. It's a lot of fun to be able to do some performing with you. There we are. We've got the screen split up now.
Yeah, you do that too, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've got a weekly show that I do from around 12:30 in the afternoon Pacific time. And it's a short set, and I go Monday through Friday. So I do that one by myself, and then once a month I do a cocktail hour, and we have guests somewhat similar to what you have here.
Hmm.
And what was that feature that you were mentioning that you have on the show? You've got the Lindy Kitchen, that's right.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great idea. And we have a feature on our show. It's a quiz. And it's a very obscure quiz, and it's just an excuse to try to give away some of the ephemera that I've collected here over the decades. And we call it Tacoma Squares. And that's a part of our cocktail hour that we have once a month.
Oh, very nice. How long have you been running both shows?
It all started during the plague, some June? Was it June? Yeah.
Okay.
Last year.
Beginning of the plague.
That's my executive producer, Jessica, helping me out here.
You do a lot of online. That's impressive. Every day, and then a weekly, a monthly larger show. That's amazing.
Right, right. Well, those shows are not all that long, but it's a great way to, so I don't forget how to play the chords on this thing, And,
yeah, last time we actually had a lot of people very curious about the ukulele. So why don't you just tell everyone very quickly about it, because it's a really cool instrument.
This instrument is a tenor-sized ukulele, and it's got 6 strings. I don't know if you can see it that well, but there are 2 double strings. This one right here, and then the one on the end. And the one on the end is a silk wound string. And look at the headstock here. See that? And the headstock was designed after the elevator doors on the Chrysler Building.
That's what I was going to say. It looks just like that. That's crazy.
It's no accident. And the M on there is not for McGill, it's for Morton, John Morton, who built this ukulele. Unfortunately, John left us a few weeks ago, but this was designed by a friend of mine named Robert Armstrong. And Robert was a musical mentor of mine who introduced me to this old music when we were in high school. And he later joined a group called the Cheap Suit Serenaders that was inhabited by a famous cartoonist named R. Crumb. And so this is a beautiful instrument. See the etching on the back?
Yeah.
And there's etching on the sides. I don't know if you can see that as well. Anyway, Robert designed that, and he's, in addition to being a musician, he's also a cartoonist and a fine artist. And he has a cartoon character called Mickey Rat. And also, Robert, he copywrote the name couch potato. And the term couch potato actually originated among Robert and my friends back in the mid-1970s. And you can go on Wikipedia and look it up, but but there was a group of guys called the Couch Potatoes for a while, and they all had T-shirts with a cartoon of a potato reclining on a couch, and it said in Latin, "Sic semper potatum reclinus."
That's awesome.
So yeah, blah blah blah. But you know, I'm thinking people probably tuned in to hear some live music.
Yeah. So what are you gonna play for us? What do you got?
You know, I'm a very slippery individual, and I'm very good at finding a rabbit hole to scoot down. So I want to do a little bit of a celebration of Black History Month by doing a couple of songs from a composer named Maceo Pinkard, and he's not as well known as Fats Waller or James P. Johnson, but wow, he wrote some great tunes, and here's one that was recorded by Billie Holiday and many other people. It goes like this. I fell in love with you the first time I looked into them there eyes. You've got a cute little certain way of flirting with them there eyes. Oh, they make me feel so happy. They make me feel so blue. I'm falling, no stalling, falling in a great big way for you. My heart is jumping, you started something with them there eyes. You'd better look out, little brown eyes, if you're wise. Oh, sparkle, oh, bubble, I get you in a whole lot of trouble. Oh, baby, them there eyes. Them there eyes. You've got a cute little certain way of flirting with them there eyes. Oh, they make me feel so happy. They make me feel so blue. I'm falling, no stalling, falling in a great big wave for you. My heart is jumping, you started something with them there eyes. You'd better look out, little brown eyes, if you're wise. Oh, sparkle, bubble, I get you in a whole lot of trouble. Oh, baby, them there eyes. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you and good night. Okay. No, actually, I'm sorry. I have to play some more songs. But I'm doing some songs. If you just tuned in, I'm doing some tunes by a guy named Maceo Pinkard, who was an active songwriter, piano player during the 1920s and 30s. And this next one is a great song that a lot of different people have recorded. I think Billie Holiday also recorded this song. And it's from the 1920s. And I have some show and tell for you right now. I'm a sheet music collector. And look at that. There's a copy of the original sheet music. And I don't know if the words are turned around in this, with the camera the way it is. But anyway, this is kind of a rare one because it was published by W.C. Handy, Handy Brothers. And W.C. Handy was a guy who wrote the St. Louis Blues. And after that big hit, and also Beale Street Blues, after he wrote that tune, he left the Midwest and ended up in New York City and started a publishing company. So anyway, this song I'm sending out to a great singer, piano player, and personality, Ruby Bishop, who almost made it to 100 years old. And in Seattle, she was a well-known entertainment figure, played piano, and was just a wonderful, wonderful personality. She'd come in and sit in with my band at a restaurant we were playing at, and this was one of her signature songs, and it goes like this. sugar. I call my baby my sugar. When I'm sweet on my sugar baby is so confectionery, honey. Never pleads for my money, 'cause when I leave on honey, she gets her needs every time. I'd make 1,000,000 trips to her sweet lips if I was a bee, 'cause she's sweeter than sugar candy to me. She's granulated sugar. I never cheat on my sugar, 'cause I'm sweet on my sugar. That sugar baby of mine. I'd make 1,000,000 trips to her sweet lips if I was a bee, 'cause she's sweeter than chocolate candy to me. Ah, she's confectionery sugar. I never cheat on my sugar, 'cause I'm sweet on my sugar. That sugar baby of mine. Sugar. Okay, I'm gonna come over here. We've got 2 cameras that we're juggling, and we've got the ukulele camera over here, and then the piano one over there. I'm gonna do one more song by Maceo Pinkard, and this is a really fun tune from like 1929 or 30, and it's called "Okay Baby," and was recorded by one of my favorite dance bands from that era, McKinney's Cotton Pickers. And McKinney's Cotton Pickers was a great band based out of Detroit. And they had a wonderful singer named George Thomas, and he sang this tune on the record. And I highly recommend it. You can find this on YouTube, and here's a copy of this sheet music, "Okay Baby." And we're listening to the tunes of Mr. Maceo Pinkard. Them Their Eyes, Sugar, and this is "Okay Baby." So let's see what this one sounds like here. Okay, baby, sweet as can be. Hey, hey, baby, wait till you see the ring that I picked out for you. 52 more payments, and it's yours, dear. Okay, baby, we'll run away. Hey, hey, baby, just name the day. Even if your mother wants to live with us free, it's okay, baby, with me. Okay, baby, sweet as can be. Hey, hey, baby, wait till you see the ring that I picked out for you. 52 more payments, and it's yours, dear. Okay, baby, we'll run away. Hey, hey, baby, just name the day. Even if your mother wants to live with us free, it's okay, baby, with me. It's okay, baby, with me. All right. Okay, baby. Thank you very much. That was a tune by Maceo Pinkard, and you can hear a great version of that on YouTube by the band McKinney's Cotton Pickers. And I've got a couple other tunes I'd like to play for you today. And I'm kind of celebrating Black History Month. I'm playing some songs that either were written by black composers or the last tune I want to play, I don't know who wrote it, but it might have been Big Joe Turner, but it's his vocal on it, and a big hit for him. But this next one is an original tune of mine, and this one is about one of the first people to play jazz in New Orleans, and I'm talking about the cornet player, Mr. Buddy Bolden. And by the way, I'm doing a recording project. I'm just starting a recording project. It's going to be, I guess you'd call it a legacy project, and it's going to be a collection of all of my original tunes that I've written over the last several decades. And this is one of them. It's a song that tells a little story, and there's a couple of characters that the lyric starts out mentioning: Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll. Well, Jelly Roll would be Jelly Roll Morton. Baby Dodds was a drummer in the 1920s, and he was a part of the Louis Armstrong band, the Hot Five, and he also was playing with King Oliver and was a fantastic early jazz drummer, you know, and he also made some great sides with Jelly Roll Morton. And Fireman George was also a bass player. He was known as Pops Foster, and he played on some Louis Armstrong classics, and he also played with a band led by a guy named Louis Russell. And a lot of you may be familiar with a singer who's based out of New York named Catherine Russell, who does a lot of this music, and this was her father's band. And Pops Foster, one of his nicknames was Fireman George, and he was the bass player in Russell's band. So we're going to start out with some local characters that are mentioned in our lyrics: Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll. And they're talking about Buddy Bolden. Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll can recommend without a doubt a barber with a lot of soul. He's known more for his music than he is for cutting hair. He's got a special talent, according to the folks down there. When Buddy blows that silver horn, he makes the pretty girls say please. The preacher lays his Bible down, the crap shooters get off their knees. He makes the blues come out of his heart. He hits a low down tone, and the jazz is born. Mr. Bolden's music tells a tale you won't forget, singing the blues, singing on his old cornet. You know the evening breeze would carry his tune. All of the Nolan swells, they'll be arriving soon. But with a T-na-na and a T-na-nay, a honey shaw's job on when Buddy Bolden makes the blues come out of his horn. You know the evening breeze would carry his tune. All of the Nolan swells, they'll be arriving soon. With a T-na-na and a T-na-nay, a honey shaw's job on when Buddy Bolden makes the blues come out of his heart. All right. Buddy Boulder makes the blues come out of his horn. Ah, there we are. Yeah, flipping the cameras around. I want to check the time to see how we're doing here. It's about time for me to sneak and creep. Let's see. Ah, I hear a siren in the background.
Yep, that's New York.
Yeah. Actually, we have a lot of that around here because we live close to a fire station. And there's an Alaskan Husky that lives 2 doors down. So when we get the sirens, we also get some great Alaskan Husky singing. Anyway, do I have time for another one, or should we?
Yeah, do a quick one, and then we'll be good to go.
Okay, great. This one is a Big Joe Turner's probably best known hit, and it goes like this. Well, get out of that bed and wash your face and hands. Get out of that bed and wash your face and hands. Get into Bossina, make noise with the pots and pans. I said shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Well, you don't do nothing to save your doggone soul. Well, over the hill, way down underneath. Well, over the hill, way down underneath. You make me roll my eyes, baby, take out my teeth. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store, peeping in a seafood store. One-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. It looks so crazy, I gotta gobble up some more. I said shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Yeah, shake, rattle and roll. Oh, shake, rattle and roll. Well, you don't do nothing to save your doggone soul, yeah.
All right, Casey, man.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks
Awesome
for having me on board.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fantastic to hear you again. As I mentioned earlier, used to play at the piano store, which was the actual speakeasy my brother started, and
Right.
you have these cool, sheet music kind of memorabilia, and I happened to find something I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
So this piano store was like 2000. It was New Year's Eve Y2K until the summer of 2000. So it was only around for about 6 months. It eventually became what is now known as Pianos, which is still down the Lower East Side on Ludlow Street. But a friend of ours had a piano store at that time. My brother decided to do a Y2K party and invite all his swing dance friends. He had just started dancing like a year or two before. So he started before me, started Prohibition Productions, and started throwing these speakeasies in this like construction zone of his, which he turned into this swing club. And I found this, hopefully you can see it. It is one of the original invitations when you played there.
Oh, wow.
June 28th, 2000.
Fantastic.
And this was all pre, Facebook and stuff like that. So we actually had little paper invites, and it was technically illegal because it wasn't a proper club. So
Right.
it had to be all kind of quietly, people just told their friends. It wasn't publicized at all. But yeah, this was when first met Casey way back then when he was on Broadway on Swing.
Okay.
So that was
Thanks
little-
for sharing that with me. That was kind of fun to see that. I think I had a business card of the piano store also. I think I may still have one of those.
nice.
That's
Well,
great. Well, thank
so
you, Patrick.
just remind everyone one more time, when do you have your online live streams, and so they can
Yeah.
check that out?
I'm doing some music Monday through Friday, and I come on around 12:30 Pacific time, and it's not a long set. It's like maybe 4 songs or something like that. So in New York, that would be, you know, around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. And so if you're playing hooky and you're going to cut out from work a little early, that could accompany you for a little bit there. But yeah, that's when I do that.
And then the monthly is the first Thursday?
Right. Our cocktail hour is on the first Thursday of every month, and that starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We have a musical guest. We have a celebrity bartender who mixes up a drink for us. We have a game show called Tacoma Squares with fabulous prizes. I'm giving away some old Fortune magazine's duplicates from the 1930s. In fact, here's one right here. That's
Oh, wow.
One of our, it weighs about 5 pounds. And that and some band t-shirts from the 1980s. I know you're going to want one of those.
Is that your hair metal band days?
No, actually, strangely enough, I had this mustache and I had short hair from about 1980. And I had a swing group in LA called Mood Indigo. And you can see me in the movie Francis with Jessica Lange and our trio. And there's a scene that opens up on us and we're doing It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. And so I've had this look for a long time. The look was a little better in 1982, however.
Very nice. Well, Casey, it's always a pleasure to see you and to hear you and to just wonderful stories and just the historical context of everything. So thank you again, Casey. We'll hopefully bring you back to New York sometime. It'd be great to have you back here.
Thank you very much. And carry on. I can't wait to see the rest of the show. Everybody looks great.
All right. Thanks again. All right. So once again, that is Casey MacGill coming to us live from Tacoma, Washington. And he was there at the very beginning of Prohibition Productions. So it's just been wonderful to have him. And, you know, he's just a fount of knowledge and swing. And yeah, so check him out. He's got a daily show during the week, and then once a month he's got the cocktail party. Casey MacGill. And if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Patrick from Prohibition Productions, and we're so glad you're here today. Just a quick reminder that you can send donations to Prohibition Productions via PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, and we suggest a minimum of $5 to $10 per person, but as much as you can give is wonderful, and we share that amongst everyone that you're seeing tonight. So up next, we're going to be bringing up, I'm just going to say our favorite power couple. It's DeWitt Fleming Jr. and JENNIE HARNEY-FLEMING. They're just awesome, great people. DeWitt is a fantastic tap dancer and entertainer. You probably have seen him on shows like The Boardwalk Empire, and he's just done tons of things. JENNIE, and actually DeWitt I've known for way longer than I realized, going all the way back to when we started Prohibition Productions. And he's playing with J.C. Hopkins, who was the first big band that we brought in 2006 or 7 or 8, I don't know. And then JENNIE, we just met probably in the fall or winter, right before shutdown. And DeWitt was like, "Oh, this is my wife, JENNIE. She's amazing. You know, she just got off Hamilton on Broadway." It was just like, whoa, like we'd just seen that, and she's amazing. Looked her up. She's fantastic. And together they've come on the show a number of times. It was one of the first shows that we had. JENNIE was pregnant. She was very pregnant. And then the second time she came on, she had the little baby. And it was like, I think it was in June when when all the protests were happening. And it was just, there was just something really magical about that, her singing with the baby and DeWitt tapping. And it was just, anyways, we're thrilled to have them back. So we're going to welcome JENNIE and DeWitt, and we're just super excited to have them. How is it going, guys?
It's going good.
Hey.
How
Good.
you doing?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. How's the little one, speaking of?
Oh, she'll probably be singing in the background.
She's singing now?
Yeah.
She's matching whatever mommy's singing.
Yeah, whenever I sing, she kind of joins me. It becomes a duet.
Oh my! And she's what, 8 months, 7 months?
Yeah, she's 8 months now. Yeah,
Holy moly!
yeah, she's getting big.
Wow. Is she tapping it?
Oh yes.
Really?
Whenever,
Kicking those
yeah, those feet go when she hears her father.
Man, that's amazing. All right. Well, I feel like you're coming along this journey with us ever since the beginning of the pandemic, and like it's just great to have you back. And how have you guys been over the last couple of months?
You know, it's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
Every day is something, you know, so we can just go with the flow.
Yeah, one day at a time, one moment at a time.
Right,
Just try to, you know.
Do you have online stuff that you're doing?
We're actually leaving tonight to go down to D. We're doing a show called After Midnight.
Oh
It's
yeah.
going to be at the Signature Theater, and they're going to videotape it, and you can watch it online. So that should be coming around March, I believe.
Wow. It's like a real gig.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. We got the call. We were like, what? Really?
How's this thing work?
Right.
Wow, fantastic. So what do you got for us? We'd love to hear a little something, something.
Yeah, we got something.
We got a little something. A little something.
We just gonna hit it.
Go for it.
In my solitude, you haunt me with memories of days gone by. In my solitude, you taunt me with reveries that never die. I sit in my chair, filled with despair, and no one could be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and stare. I know that I'll soon go mad. In my solitude, I'm praying, dear Lord above, stand back my love. In my solitude, you haunt me with memories of days gone by. In my solitude, you taunt me with reveries that never die. I sit in my chair, filled with despair, as no one could be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare, know that I'll soon go mad. In my solitude, I'm praying, dear Lord above, send back, dear Lord above, send back my love. Dear Lord above, send back my love.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've got a quick question for you. Just since give you a minute to catch your breath. How about that? So, Jenny, as a Broadway person, I'm just really curious. I guess a lot of the performing arts and the world sort of is looking at Broadway as when it's going to be safe to, like, when Broadway reopens. It's like, oh, then that's going to be when we're getting kind of more back to normal. What are you hearing on your end as about when that might be?
I really, I couldn't tell you. I meant, I believe that they are shooting for at some point in 2021. I would anticipate that would be very far, like at the end of 2021. Um, Especially as we are seeing the vaccine not necessarily roll out as quickly as anticipated. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I listen to the skepticism, and I listen to, the optimism and the possibilities. But honestly, you wait until the second the second check clears before you really think you got a job. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think I think we just need to just hold our horses and just pray that everything goes
Right.
smooth. That's my own,
Yeah, I
perspective.
think I think we've all had to like just go with the flow because you think one thing and then it changes and then new things happen. Do you have you heard, is Hamilton coming back to Broadway?
They are. I think they broadcasted they anticipate coming back in 2021. I don't know for certain what the actual deadline would be. I think there's a lot of things that are up in the air as possibilities, but it's still a really big question mark. I think everyone's just kind of watching how things progress and trying to make decisions based off of something surefire, and nothing is surefire.
Sure, sure, sure.
You know?
Man, all right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So what do you got next?
All right. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air. But when you're walking down the street and you ain't had enough to eat, the glitter wears right off and you're nowhere. They say the young men treat you fine on Broadway, but looking at them just gives me the blues. 'Cause how you gonna find the time when all you got is one thin dime, and one thin dime can't even shine your shoes? They say that I won't last too long on Broadway. I'll catch the Greyhound bus going home. They say that I won't last too long on Broadway. I'll catch the Greyhound bus for home, they all say. But they're dead wrong, I know they are, 'cause I can know I'm going far, and I won't quit till I'm a star on Broadway.
have to say, I love when you guys do the duo thing. It's like my new favorite. It's like I feel like I can hear the words more, but somehow the way that you sing it, Jenny, and it just like you feel the music around it, and it doesn't feel like a duo. It just feels like this whole thing. You should totally.
Success.
You should do a duo album. I'm not even kidding. Like I would be the first one to buy that. It's
Oh
like,
yeah. We might could.
Yeah, absolutely.
could be a quarantine project. I don't know.
Right.
Listen, we got them added to the list.
There's another question. Everyone seems to love your dog and just like how chill, just hanging out. So tell us a little bit about him.
Come here, Riley.
Riley was actually a gift. One Christmas morning, I woke up and my husband was not there. And I promptly called or texted him. I don't remember. Probably texted him because it was so early. And just said, "Hey, where are you?" He was like, "Oh, I thought I was gonna get back before you woke up. I went out to get your gift. I'll be back in a little while." And I said, "Okay." So I just got back in the bed and went to sleep. And when I woke back up, there was this big crate in the living room with this wrapping paper all over it, and it was kind of crazy. So I was like, "What is happening?" And he said, "Okay, that's your gift. Go open it." And I went, and that was my little 8-week-old puppy, Riley. And we've had him. He's 2 years old now. He's the best thing in the whole wide world. He's very sweet. He's very calm. He's very loyal. But yeah, DeWitt got me Riley as a gift for Christmas, and it was amazing.
Damn, good job, man. And like a musician's dog, just like, chilling, at as you're singing and do your thing, and
He's
as
so
you
used
do.
to it. Just like Ella and him, both are just two peas in the pod now.
You were kind of like singing along while you're doing your thing. That was awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I wonder if this is getting picked up in the mic. I don't know.
Just a little bit. Well, man, it's like we're getting to meet the whole family. Well, it's good to like see you all, like all four of you, and good luck on the gig tomorrow in DC.
Thanks, yeah.
And
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We're trying to get out of here before the storm.
all right, well, I'll let you go and drive safely, and we'll do this again.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so
man.
much.
Good seeing you.
All right, take care, guys. All right, once again, that was DeWitt Fleming Jr. and Jennie Harney-Fleming live here in New York, and just such a thrill to have them. And up next, we have a wonderful, wonderful band, Mimi and the Pod Brothers. I first came across them actually at the Rum House, which is a little dive bar in Times Square. We used to go there often on Mondays after we finished our beer house with like Lauren and the whole crew, and we would like go there, hang out. It was the jam session that Terry Waldo was doing, and we had actually hired the owners of Rum House in the past for some of our bigger events back when they were doing that kind of thing. And so I'd always stop by and get one of like a Great Manhattan. And then one of these days we stopped by, this band was playing, and I think Mimi was like ripping into some opera while it was like this jazzy thing going on, and we're like, who are these guys? And so they always kind of were in the back of my mind, and then we started hearing from other friends that had played with them, like Danny Giannacucci and Danny Lipschitz, and eventually we're like, okay, let's bring them into the fold, try it out, and we had them at Beer House, and then they were actually on our last New Year's Eve at the Players Club, and I guess that would have been the 2019 New Year's Eve. Just over a year ago. So, and they tore it up and it was awesome. But anyways, we're so glad to have them. So we're going to first say hello to Mimi. How's it going?
Hi, how you doing, Patrick? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining. And then we've got Adam and Matt.
Hi, everybody. Adam here.
Hey, I'm Matt, and this is Julian.
Oh, it's like family time here.
Yeah, I got jealous seeing that other cute family's dog and hearing their baby, so I thought I'd bring mine into the mix.
Wow, how old?
Julian is 22 months.
Oh,
He's about to have his second pandemic birthday. His first birthday party was right at the beginning of this pandemic, and second one is coming up quick.
Man, oh man, wow. So, wow, you guys are obviously going through what every other musician's going through. And with what I wanted to mention was that, like, back when we were starting the show out, um, you were one of the first bands that did a live performance more than just like a solo. And it was our June 13th live stream that back when we were doing this weekly. And the three of you got together in like an alleyway somewhere in Brooklyn. And where was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, actually, I work at a church in Brooklyn Heights, and so we were trying to go somewhere we could be outside but connect to really strong Wi-Fi. So we went into the little Peace Garden at the First Presbyterian Church of Brooklyn, and ran some mics and connected to their Wi-Fi. And
I had no idea that it translated to be looking like we were in an alleyway.
it is kind of a narrow little alley, though.
It looked narrow, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Henry Street in Brooklyn Heights.
Oh, so it's kind of fancy.
Yeah, it is kind of fancy.
It's a really nice alleyway.
Super bougie alleyway. I mean, any alleyway with like really good Wi-Fi is like already bougie, but when
it's a keeper,
Henry,
yeah.
Patrick, let's just say you'll never work in that alleyway again. So.
Well, it's I mean, so I think it's kind of amazing. Like we went from I guess bougie alleyway to then having you guys in Prospect Park. It's sort of, again, I guess like with DeWitt and Jenny, sort of following the progression of our show, and then we did this in October, I believe, where we had like a 3-camera shoot. We had Old Young Kim, myself on camera, and then you had the full band, which was amazing. We had, I think, 3 bands that day, and it was like Dan Yanakuchi, it was you guys, and I think we also had, Professor Cunningham, maybe? Oh, Svetlana, it was Svetlana, right. And it was just like this like little jazz festival. And had you guys played as a full band before that, like since quarantine started?
We did. We had a fundraiser performance for Colorado Arts Education, where we brought together the full band, and it was inside of Matt's church, the one that he works, the one where
the one with that great Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
Reoccurring theme, I see.
Yes.
Although, was that before? That might have been after, or maybe it was around the same time. I don't remember now. In any case, it was like when numbers felt kind of,
chill.
NYC chill. Like, okay, we can maybe be like outside or inside at a distance, and yeah. So we've only done 2 things as a full band since this all started. And that performance at the park was one of them.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. I mean, I think a lot of people really loved it, and
it was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way this, just for those of you that have been following along at home, we showed 4 tunes from that day back in October. And what we're doing today is that we're doing another 4 tunes. So we recorded like a full long set. And this was part of our scheme in order to keep having new music that hasn't been shown before on our show throughout the winter when it's just too damn cold to play outside. So this is a lovely fall in Prospect Park with the full band. Can you just go through all the musicians' names? I don't think we did that on the video.
Yeah, it was Owen Broders playing clarinet and saxophone. Jamie Eblin is playing drums. And then I think it's just the 3 of us.
And then Danny Giannacucci sits in on a couple songs.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
at least one of them is on that collection.
Yeah, he's on one of them for today. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to say anything else about this, or should we just like play it?
Yeah, let's get into it. I don't remember what we even played, so this will be fun.
I'll just say I remember when we got together, Patrick, as you said, like no one was doing anything live as far as full band events go, including, at least for us, including rehearsing, because there's just sort of no logistical way to do that. And sometimes those gigs where you've been apart for a long time and you get back together and there's not a particularly clear game plan, or you're sitting in with somebody like that sort of like, and you sort of know what's going to happen, but you don't know everything that's going to happen. The energy can sort of be hard to it's sort of irreplaceable. It's a fun energy. I mean that sort of in a good way, where you're like, we all just sort of got to lean into this, trust each other, and listen up and play our asses off. And so, I remember it was sort of feeling like one of those gigs where it's like, okay, like everybody heads up ball, because we didn't have a rehearsal for this one, and it's also been a year since anyone played music.
Yeah. And for me, it had been like several months since I sang like jazz. So I was like, does the instrument still work?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Adam, is that a new jacket?
No, it's not. That would make no sense.
I've never seen it.
I can't wait to unveil my new wardrobe for the world. I've been collecting.
I thought you just started.
Yeah, I can say as a fellow identical twin, I super appreciate that.
He had a jacket that I didn't know about. I would have been kind of worried. So
Yeah.
I know the feeling. I think my brother's watching. But it's interesting what you're saying about playing together. A lot of the bands that we've had on the show and that we shot video of, a lot of them were the first time the bands were getting together to play in 6 months and many months. And there was always that worry of, can we do this? Do we remember how to do this? And I think everyone had that energy, and we ended up getting a lot of great material. I mean, like, there's nothing ideal about any of this, but I think for people that play so much, like you guys play weekly at the Rum House, and you have other gigs, and you have your other projects, and then to kind of, like even last show, Dan Levinson was talking about that, veteran clarinet player has been playing for decades, that he's finally, he's back in a place where he kind of loves playing again because he misses it so much. I think it's a really weird dichotomy we're all in right now.
Yeah, it also takes that sort of natural spontaneity of like the jazz world and the jazz, practices and experience, and it just kind of elevates it to that even more unpredictable place, or more spontaneous, because there's really nothing at this point that's rooted in pattern and muscle memory. It's kind of everything sort of felt like, all right, this is kind of what you try to create this kind of energy in a jazz setting, even if especially when you play together extremely often. Like, we got to keep it feeling fresh, and so when that's just laid out for you, and like you said, in some ways it's a blessing.
And I think the audience felt it too. I mean, we had a great audience that day, and we sold more albums and vinyl records that day than we had on a gig in a very long time. And we sold a couple dozen vinyl records and CDs, and so
wow,
we were connecting with people one way or the other, and so that was kind of a fun bonus to like actually, we got to play out once as a band, but we sent some more music out into the world.
Right. It was very likely those people's first time hearing live music or live ensemble music in who knows how long.
Yeah. Wow. So clearly Prospect Park, good spot for selling vinyl.
Yeah. I'm going to drop a link to our website in the chat. Does the chat go to everybody?
Yeah. It goes to everyone on Zoom. So please do. Definitely.
Right. That way, if anyone else wants a vinyl or a CD, you know where to get it.
Cool. Well, why don't we go ahead and play the video? Once again, this is the day that we were out in Prospect Park in October, and we have Mimi and the Pod Brothers, and here we go. We got 4 tunes, and we got a little bit of a little interview going on as well.
We're Mimi and the Pod Brothers. This is a really unusual setup for us. We usually have a piano of some kind, but it seemed like a hassle to bring to the park today. And Matt is also such a great accordion player that we love to whip out the accordion when we get the chance. it, but what I got, I'll give to you. 'Cause I don't get too much money, and money can't buy me love, can't buy me love. Everybody tells me so, can't buy me love. No, 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 say you don't want no diamond ring, yeah, I'll be satisfied. Tell me what the kinds of things that money just can't buy. 'Cause I don't get too much money, and money can't buy me can't buy me love. Everybody tells me so, can't buy me love. No, 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 say you don't want no diamond ring, and I'll be satisfied. Tell me what the kinds of things that money just can't buy. 'Cause I don't get too much money, I don't get too much money, I don't get too much money, and money can't buy me love. Thank you. That's Owen Broder on the saxophone.
It seems like I've always been singing. I think I really started singing because, so my mom is a single mom, and she was trying to figure out how to get me to go to a good high school, because in New York, the high schools are super segregated, and like the high schools that were close to me were like really bad. So she said, you're gonna audition to go to school. And every day she would come home from work at like 8 p.m. She worked from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And she would make me sing Part of Your World for The Little Mermaid. And then I auditioned to go to Murrow, and I got in. And since then I've been singing.
I didn't know that.
I know, it's like crazy. It turns out I was like already like pretty good at opera. And so I was able to switch majors because there was not much of a jazz program there. And I studied opera, and then I went to Manus for opera. Yeah, and I've sung Tosca, I've sung Aida, I've sung Matilde Neruda, I've sung a bunch of things.
So you're a dramatic soprano?
Yeah, pretty much.
That makes sense.
I call myself a spinto because I mostly do like Italian music.
Uh-huh.
But yes.
While tearing off a game of golf, I may make a play for the caddy. But when I do, I don't follow through, 'cause my heart belongs to Daddy. My heart belongs to Daddy. I simply couldn't be bad. My heart belongs to Daddy. Da 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 da. Daddy. I like to own you, laddie. I think you're perfectly swell. belongs to my daddy, 'cause my daddy treats me so well. Thank you. Songs for all the sugar daddies out there.
I was playing Hadestown,
Oh, right. Okay.
which has accordion in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my accordion has opened some professional doors for me because I was subbing as the music director on Hadestown. I was doing about once or twice a week when Broadway was open. And it's a piano, accordion, and conducting chair. So you're conducting. It's not heavy on the conducting. It's mostly like forehead conducting, but playing piano, switching to accordion here, and leading the cast and the ensemble.
Right. Was the show still running when it?
Yeah. They plan on coming back. I mean, so does everybody, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be a good show to come back to because of just the tone of it. Is like the slogan for Hadestown is imagine the world the way it could be. Like it's all about sort of the, sort of the depth of, altered worlds and things being kind of upside down, and the transition from Hades to
Yeah,
Earth.
I mean,
That Greek myth stuff is kind of timeless,
for sure.
Yeah.
I moved to the city in 2010, so 10 years ago. After my undergrad at Ithaca, I went to grad school in Rochester at Eastman, and then right after that, I moved to Brooklyn for the same girl that introduced me to Diana. But then we split up after that, and I was making a career here. I love New York City, and my brother was actually already here. He moved here earlier than I did. And so it was like, just some of my community, some of my people were here, and there was a lot of music to be made. So.
Thank you. That's a French waltz entitled Indifference, or if you're French, it's Indifference. If you like what you hear, please visit our station over here. There's matchbooks that are totally free. You can drop a tip in if you want. And there's also CDs for $10 and vinyl for $20. It's just honor system, so if you take one, leave some money, please. And it'll help me pay off my accordion.
It's really nice to have a jazz group where the personnel is really consistent, because a lot of the times when it's a little bit more of a jam session or people sitting in to, subbing for this guy or subbing for that guy, the arrangements can suffer because everything has to sort of be doable on the fly. And so we try to prioritize as much as we can, like having our people where we do it so that the stuff we've worked on is always there.
Yeah, I was wondering about the arrangements because it felt so arranged, and was that just you played them so many times you have memorized, or?
Yeah, we basically, some of them have been specifically arranged before we worked on them. Like my brother and I are both professional arrangers, so we'll work on a tune for an upcoming concert or a show that we know that we want to do this song or that song. And then some of them we've just played them live a bunch of times and they kind of take a shape, and if you play them the same week, week after week, the shape starts getting kind of recognizable. Right. And so,
So Rum House, I assume, was...
Yeah, Rum House is really where
big part of that.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What's that like, been playing there every week?
I don't know how we got that gig anymore. I cannot remember how we got that gig. But it has been such a crazy adventure. Whew. The Rum House is a place where really anything can happen. Anybody can walk in. You're going to drink a lot. You're going to just spend 3 hours punching your vocal cords. It is such a great learning experience. And that's why we took the gig, because I remember they weren't paying us very much at first, but we thought of the reasons why it would benefit us to do it, and we turned out to be right about that.
Yeah, it's really like a good sort of teeth-cutting experience where how a lot of great singers or good musicians end up playing in churches, and it's like that sort of weekly aspect of any gig is so formative, and so that was the Rum House for us. Just
truly.
Whatever you had to go through, the piano's broken or the mics aren't working one night or all this kind of the crap that happens at any joint. It all happens, and then you deal with it and you get through it, and you just have that sort of relentless stamina that you build up, and it really is a good...
And a lot of our friends who were performing in Broadway shows not too far away would come by and sit in, so it was truly a space where the moment was being born as we were kind of living through it.
Jamie, who just played drums with us, does a lot of Broadway stuff, and he would come over after his show and sit in on I don't know, whatever he happened to be carrying with him, a shaker and a tambourine, and sit with us. So it became this sort of fun, slightly after work Broadway hang with us playing and some of our friends coming in and sitting in. So
Okay, we've got one more for you guys. Thank you everyone for coming to enjoy this really chill moment. We all needed it. Like I said before, there's the money hole. There are your free emergency matchbooks. We're Mimi and the Pods on Instagram. Enjoy, and we hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you.
One of these mornings standing by.
Jamie Evelyn on the drums, Matt Pod on the accordion. I'm Mimi. Thank you guys so much. See you again soon.
Yeah, I'm impressed, yo.
All right, there we go. Mimi and the Pod Brothers in October in Prospect Park. Huge thank you to Old Young Kim for letting us shoot on his cameras and helping out with that. And man, guys, so good.
Thank you.
Thanks. That was really an experience to watch for me. It's like I don't remember doing that or really ever doing that. So. It felt even longer ago than I expected.
Well, it was like 4 or 5 months ago at this point,
Right. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Totally.
So just actually, just want to mention the first part of this of that gig is on our YouTube page. So we had 4 other tunes, a whole interview. If you're digging the band, like I am, please check it out. It's on our YouTube on Prohibition Productions. and there's more great music there. So just out of curiosity, guys, do you have any other online things coming up? Anything we should know about?
Well, definitely follow us on Instagram. We're Mimi and the Pods on Instagram. We'll let you guys know what we're up to as they come up. Right now, I'm in an online opera. The guys are doing their own publishing stuff. So definitely just follow us on Instagram and we'll keep you updated on what's to come.
Yeah, nothing as this band online coming up, but we'll keep the public posted. Adam and I are venturing into the world of music publishing online and been doing a lot of choral music stuff. And Mimi's staying very busy in the virtual opera field. So we're just keeping the music going.
Very cool. Well, thank you all so much. It's so great to have the whole three of you here and just chat and talk and listen to great music, and can't wait to see the band live again.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We'll do it again soon if you let us.
Definitely. Yes.
Thanks, Patrick.
See you later, Patrick.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. So once again, that is Mimi and the Pod Brothers, and so glad to hear them back from our October shoot that we did with them, that big shoot that we did with the 3 bands in Prospect Park. And we've got one more musical guest coming up, but I want to just remind everybody that if you haven't done so already, you can send in any donation through PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle to Prohibition Productions. We recommend a minimum of $5 to $10 per person, and that gets shared amongst all the performers that you are seeing tonight. And up next, we have a wonderful musician and singer. Her name is Shelly Watson. Many of you that attended our Fridays at the Secret Room in between September and March 13th. Shelly was one of our hosts along with Dandy Wellington, and she just, like, every time she was there, just tore down the house. She was singing, she was emceeing, and just really an amazing person. Funnily enough, tonight seems to be our opera and Broadway night, like between Shelly is a trained opera singer from Juilliard, I guess, along with Mimi at Manus, and just a very multi-talented person. And she was living in New York for a very long time, but now we're going to go to her live, and she is no longer in New York. Shelly, how are you?
I'm doing great, Patrick. Great to see you. Really great to see you. Live from Arkansas.
So Arkansas, tell us about that. Give us like the short version of why that happened.
Well, as you know, everybody stopped working. My last show was March 15th. And basically,
well, you really squoze that in. Like, that was like the last day.
Oh, yeah. Like, I closed it out. And the thing that was really interesting was, so many of our places have closed. Like, they're like permanently closed. Like, they're done. And so we're gonna, need to wait until we get more investors to come in and start the small clubs, like all the tiny clubs that have been around on the Lower East Side, that people worked 20, 30 years to establish. And, we understand, and I'm so glad that, Broadway will be the first to open. There's no doubt about that, because we need the tourism, we need all of that other stuff. And once more people start rolling in and things start happening, it'll open up. And I've been asked numerous times to write my autobiography. So I'm out here writing my autobiography, and people are like, well, you're not that old. There's still more life. But I'm 53. But what I'm doing is I'm releasing it in 3 segments. So I'll have the first segments up to my life till graduating high school. Then I'll have graduating high school before I left for New York, which was all my wrestling, rock and roll days. And then the third one will be from New York until whenever that is, however long that, of course I want to sell the first 2 for a while,
So I just want to just interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
When we were at the Secret Room, I would be on the stage playing with the hot toddies and stuff like that. And then afterwards, Jamie would be backstage apparently talking with you. And then after the show, she'd be like, hey, did you know that Shelly was like a professional wrestler? And I'd be like, what? And like literally every time she would have this like new tidbit about Shelly that you'd be like, what? How could that possibly be true? And so it makes like 100,000% sense that you're writing a memoir, because it's like from wrestling to opera and Juilliard to like big burlesque producer, like everything. I mean, it's just like, what haven't you done? It's amazing.
Yeah, and and that's the thing. And 2020 marked my 30th anniversary in New York City. I've been there 30 years, and I've sung in every single hall in Lincoln Center. I've performed, in every single giant club, every small club, every bar. But the only thing that I have never done has been actually on Broadway. I did get a show on Broadway because I'm not union, and it was for the Cole Porter Over the Moon thing that happened like 20 years ago. But I had to be in the chorus. I couldn't get a main role, and then they fired me because they're like, your energy is too much. They're like, you're not a chorus person. And I'm like, for the money I can, but it's hard to tone this down, as you know, and especially out here in Arkansas,
what's that like? I mean, I can't even imagine you in Arkansas.
Well, what's really interesting, Patrick, is that if I was ever going to, and my sister lives here, that's actually why I'm here. And honestly, I have a 3-bedroom with an extra bedroom, 1,300 square foot front yard, backyard, 2 separate garages for $700 a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's insane. And so I'm able, like now I have this one room that's just my studio and where I'm writing. Then I have a completely separate room that I can finally house all of my giant headdresses and all of the wigs that I make, because I make a lot of my costume stuff.
I know. It's this is a Shelly Watson. She gave this to me, and I wear it on this. This is part of the thing. I mean, like, wow. So
yeah, and I'll try to answer it a little bit quicker too. My sister was like, well, you might want to hide your liberal, and I was like, no, absolutely, not. And normally, I have purple hair, but I'm just getting ready to redo it. And I've got a personalized license plate. I'll give you and the listeners, and hi, everybody out there. Thank you for supporting live entertainment. My license plate is CRE, the number 8, and then ART. What does that spell?
Create.
What's the last 3 words? ART.
Oh, create art.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I have this big giant 2003 Grand Marquis that my nephew, he's a
Wait, that's
rancher.
a car. That's crazy.
Oh, it's
a New Yorker
insane.
with a car?
It's huge. And I am getting a big giant shark fin because it's gray, because her name is Ethel Mermaid, of course. And, I haven't really met a lot of people in town because, there's still COVID restrictions. And I do have my neighbors and they know about me, but they really knew about me because on Christmas Eve, I went out in this giant Christmas tree dress on my yawn, and I pulled out my my PA system and I did a little mini Christmas show, and all my neighbors were like, what the hell? What the hell? Who is that? And slowly, they'll come by and they'll be like, I sure enjoyed that holiday concert. That would be so much fun. And as you know, Patrick, so many amazing artists are from Arkansas. The Carter family, Johnny Cash, Petey Wheatstraw, I think his last name is, like an old blues guitarist. And I'm actually hoping to open my own venue here and do 20s, 30s, 40s music. Because I don't, I'm right in between Fayetteville, which is like Walmart, Bentonville, the capital for Walmart, and then Branson, which is basically Jesus in a spangled vest. Do you know what I'm saying? So not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's really not my scene, And I thought, why not? I mean, the buildings out here you can get for like $25,000-$30,000. It's insane.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I thought, even if I have that, I'd like to start to build a sort of like arts community. And there's this small town called Harrison Square. And it's got a really old theater called the Lyric, of course, which I'm currently becoming involved in for their new season, which will be something else. But they're looking, everything is sort of turning over. So they have a lot of, younger people in town that are saying, listen, we want to have something here so we don't have to go, at 45 minutes to an hour to go and see something. And so they're opening like, little bars and little art galleries in the town. So I think I got here, at the perfect time, and we'll see how it works out. I do still want that Tony Award, Patrick. So I figure by that time, I'll just be playing Annie Mame forever, which is fine.
So you're going to stay there for a while then, or you're just kind of waiting on what happens in the world?
I was going to be here through March, because when we left in March, everybody's like next March. And then now everybody's like July. And then it was like, okay, October, like we don't really know. And, starting the following weekend, like March 21st, I think, was the first show I did. I immediately hopped on, and I do 2-hour shows a week since last year.
Like, that's amazing. Like,
and
we didn't start
repeated a show.
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't expect. I mean, like, I see your backdrops and your posts. I'm like, oh my god, like it's amazing what you're doing. I mean, we didn't start till April 25th, right? Our last gig in the former real world was March 13th at Secret Room.
Yeah.
Right. And you had a gig on the 15th, and then you started your live stream a week later. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay those bills. Because a lot of people don't know the glamorous lifestyle that musicians have, things like paying rent, eating, buying toilet paper, and so it's perfect out here, because now I have a space, because, I'm also a director, a producer, a costume designer, a makeup designer, all that other stuff. I have the space that I can finally use everything that I have. Like, I have my own theater here. I directed an opera a year and a half ago, and my budget for 14-person cast was $250. And I essentially just did from my collection of stuff, all the wardrobe and all of that. So it's the first time that I've honestly been able to do everything that I do at once. And I couldn't do that in New York. And thankfully, my husband is, he's very, very supportive. And Patrick, you love people, and y'all out there who are sitting at home, you love your people, but sometimes you want them to get the hell out. And being that close to each other for so long, it was nice. And we both found, he's been building a lot of stuff, and he renovated our whole kitchen, building everything himself. And, both of us are really doing a lot of different work together. Now, whether or not I'll stay in Arkansas forever, I'm not sure, because we own our apartment in New York, and he's got his business out there. But for right now, I just want to say, honestly, how lucky I feel. And even though as horrible as everything that's been happening with COVID, and we don't have money, it has afforded me finally, for the first time in my life, to just sit back and see really, really what I want. Because as you know, we go gig to gig to gig to, gig to gig. And I went from doing anywhere between, 4 and 8 shows a week to this. And I feel like a lot of artists, we need to exorcise, as in like, the Catholic priest kind, all of these creative demons. And I'm loving how people are getting creative. And I am not a tech person, Patrick. This much is true. But I've had to, figure it all out. And my back neighbor there. He's like, are you one of those YouTubers? He's like, I saw one of those big lights and you were dressed up in this weird outfit. And I was like, well, no, but this is what I do. So it's just been absolutely fantastic. And, you know, Patrick, I'm so grateful to you and all of the stunning artists from Prohibition Productions. I mean, I can't believe, honestly, that somehow Prohibition Productions wasn't, you know, picked up as a sort of Broadway show, you know, that you could rotate all of the, you know, the incredible casts. And something else that's really kind of cool is that because all of us love the same era of music, you know, we love all the same songs. I have about 7 songs. 5 of those were all done tonight. So I had to change my my set list. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, because we all do the sort of same songs. And it's funny because in burlesque, you know, there's the joke, you know, that's like, oh, do you have an act to Night Train? You know, and I would always say, you know, everybody has an act, you know, to Night Train. And I once made a show called Take the Night Train to St. James
Infirmary. Of course you did.
Do you remember that?
No,
Yeah,
I don't, but it makes perfect sense because it's like exactly right. It's like the 2 songs every burlesque dancer uses.
And it was every different version.
Wow.
So they were all different versions of it because everybody has it. And I got that idea from, there's this really weird poem where I did this strange contemporary, like, woo, hoo, hee, hoo, you know, you know, like as a composer or your brother too, that you, for contemporary music, you spend a year and a half writing this piece. They spend a month to work on it. You do it one night for 12 people, you know, and it was this composer called Lucas Foss, and the name of the lyrics were 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. And it was all of these different, you know, visions and different types of music. I mean, this dude was like playing a bowl in the piano, you know, and I thought, you know what, that'd be really cool, but with burlesque. So I really like to do, you know, that type of stuff, like really mix it up. And it also feels so good, Patrick, to listen to all of these amazing artists. Cause I know, you know, during the show, a lot of the times I was just like,
yeah,
because I never get to go out because we're all working. So getting the chance, you know, to see all these, you know, wonderful people and work with so many great musicians, you know, it's just been great. I've just been sitting in the back and listening and singing along and just having the best time. So I want to thank you, of course, for doing such a great job in getting all these people together. And if you guys haven't seen it, you need to check out Patrick's awesome video of how he made his soundproof room, because that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
You know, quarantining.
Playing drums in an apartment. I mean, now here's the thing. You probably never would have done that without quarantine.
Very true.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we're inventing. I guess sorriest for the neighbors of the tap dancers.
And actually, we've had a lot of tap dancers on the show, and that's been their biggest issue. So, like, they've been doing some soft shoe stuff, or it's really, really interesting. I mean, like what you're saying, I think, like, obviously this has been a very difficult time, but think about the ways that everyone is sort of struggling to figure out how to do their thing with the limitations. So I love what you're saying about going out to Arkansas, because it sounds like you're able to now address this part that you had not been able to do before, because when we're in the grind and the regular, like, thing, and I think a lot of people we've had on the show have talked about that.
Yeah.
And in a way, it kind of lets you connect a little bit more to your roots, and why you're doing this, and figure out new things. And we're learning new things. All of us are, and we've all had to make compromises to figure out how to move forward and keep doing our thing. And you know, one thing you're saying about, like, you know, maybe starting up a club out there. I mean, I kind of am starting to strongly believe that in a lot of ways, the parallels between now and the 1920s, and how the 1920s started with the Spanish flu and like then this explosion of creativity, I feel like that's going to happen to us, because we're in such a parallel universe of this, lockdown, and we're not interacting with people, and everyone who's creative has to like stay put. And I think as soon as we're allowed to go back out, it's like the floodgates are going to open. And I think it's going to be Roaring 20s 2.0. And I think, whether you're in Arkansas or New York or wherever, I think there's going to be something. And I think it's just wonderful to hear that. And
And I applaud that, because I've been going steady, and I tell people, especially those kids out there, you're going to go to New York, you're going to be a star. And I feel mostly for them, Patrick, you know what I mean? Because, people who just got into Manus or NYU or, anywhere, and they're just embarking on their big dream or art school. And all of a sudden it's like, no, that's not going to happen for you. I was able to have this, long lasting career. And I tell people, I'm like, you don't want a job, you want a career. And this as a musician, we're like the octopi of the performing arts. You have a choice. How many people do you know who study classically who go just and sit in on Matilda? They're like, hey, Bob, I've got something to do tonight. Can you come and sit in on my show for me? And they're sure. And they go in and they play the Broadway show. And then they go to Smalls, and play for another 4 hours. And New York City is the place that you can do that. You can go from one genre to another genre within 2 blocks, and I'm really glad that the new round of people will coming in. I want to say, let the kids do it, but it's their turn. You know what I mean? It's their, just like in the, late 50s when all the beatnik people and Andy Warhol came in and the Chelsea Hotel became really popular. And, that was a movement. All these people showed up there, to find a place in what at that time, the Lower East Side, was a dirty, scandalous place. And only the hippies lived there, and then it turned into one of the biggest meccas for art in the world, if not the biggest. And I'm really excited to see what it is, as long as it's not all digital music as I'm playing to tracks. But as you know, a lot of the Broadway shows, people are cutting costs and they're playing to tracks. And I think there's going to be a little bit of that, and something else too, from the business point of view. And once again, I want to thank everybody who came here to the show tonight. You guys are awesome. I miss you. I love you. I kiss you from afar. Is the money part of it, because there's so many of us here, even though a lot of, even though a lot of people have left, but it's going to be, that difficult to start negotiating prices, because people, I feel like myself, I finally developed a spot in my career, where I can ask for a certain amount of money for gigs that are really big, so that they pay, so that I can do all the gigs that I really love for less money, and it's going to be tough, I think, for a lot of musicians. And I applaud, everybody going to the park. I'm sure you've seen, it's incredible how many artists have gone to Central Park, to busk. And you're so right about bringing it back, the Depression era. Right after that, that's what people were doing. They were hustling, musicians went around from town to town, cutting rooms,
Well, it also becomes more of a survival thing than just a gig. And there's a different energy when it's more heartfelt. And I think a lot of people lost that because of just the grind. New York's a grind. I mean, I understand also leaving because it's a grind, but then to kind of have that back a little bit. But you know what? I would love to hear some singing from you. It's just been far too long. What are you going to do?
I was like, I could chat forever. I figured when I came out here too, the other job that I would have was like an auctioneer. Because I can talk really fast. I'd be like, hey, everybody, I want to thank you very much for coming into the show. We're going to do an amazing show. It's going to be all 1920s, 1930s music. Let's go ahead. Let's get it going. Did you understand any of that, Patrick?
Has that happened yet? Because that was pretty good.
Not yet, but here's the thing, just real quick. There's 2 things that I want to do here. I want to go to a pig calling contest. so I can hear woo, so I want to hear those people doing that because I can't wait to sample that and put that into some music. And then the second thing I thought would be really cool, which I've heard of before, but I've not seen it around here, is a thing called chicken shit bingo. And what you do is you set up a big cage and you put a chicken in there, and everybody asks, calls out what number they want, and the paper is below the cage, and wherever the chicken poops, you call the numbers. I think it's a big hit.
I think you'll need to report back when you do that. We're very curious.
I mean, accompanied by tub thumping, of course.
Of course.
All right. Well, you know what? Tonight, as you know, every night is Black History Month for all of us artists out here because we're celebrating so many amazing composers. And so I would say, happy Black History Month, but happy Black history in the world, because so much of the music that we do is represented by so many of these amazing artists. So tonight I've picked a couple of my favorite singers to share with you. And so we'll go ahead and start right now, and we'll see you in a minute. I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you. Come rain or come shine. High as a mountain, deep as a river. Come rain or come shine. I guess when I met you, it was just one of those things. But don't ever back me, 'cause I'm gonna be true if you let me. You're gonna love me like nobody's loved me. Come rain or come shine. Happy together, unhappy together, and won't it be fine? Days may be cloudy or sunny, because we're in or we're out of the money. But I'm with you always, come rain or shine. I'm gonna like you like nobody's loved you. Come, 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 rain or shine. High as a mountain, deep as a river. Come rain or come shine. Well, I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things. But don't ever bet me, 'cause I'm gonna be here if you let me, Patrick. Well, I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you. Come rain or come shine. Happy together, unhappy together, and won't it be fine? Well, days may be cloudy or sunny, because we're in or we're out of the money. But I'll love you always. I'm with you, rain or shine. Rain or shine. Oh, yeah. And I know you all have been getting a lot of rain out there. I know that this much is true. Now, a lot of us are trying to make money out there. I know how it is. And some of us have had to take to the streets. That's right. It can go one of two ways, either busking or a little something else. Oh, yeah. Here's a little Ella Fitzgerald for you. And I believe you know the story, my friends. when the only sound in the empty street is the heavy tread of the heavy feet that belong to a lonesome calf. I open shut when the moon so long has been gazing down on the wayward ways of this wayward town, that her smile becomes a smirk. I go to work. Maybe I'll go down to Memphis. Love for sale. Well, 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 appetizing young love for sale. Oh, I got a question. Who's prepared to pay the price for a trip to paradise? Love for sale. Now, you know, I think that's pretty funny, Lorraine, that you mentioned that Dale Watson hosts Chicken Shit Bingo at Hernando's Hideaway in Memphis. And, you know, it's pretty crazy. My last name is Watson, too. So maybe we can do like a whole Watson thing of Chicken Shit Bingo. What do you think about that? And I'll tell you what, Tennessee is right around the corner. So maybe I'll take a little drive down there. And we can do, of course, a social distancing Chicken Shit Bingo. That might be kind of fun. Thank you so much, Lorraine, for letting me know about Dale. Let the poets pipe of love in their childish ways. I know every type of love better far than they. If you want the thrill of love, I've been through the mill of love. Old love, new love, every love but true love. Love for sale. Oh, appetizing, maybe not so young love for sale, like a fine wine, everybody. If you want to buy my wares, follow me and climb those stairs. Love for sale. Let those poets pipe of love in their childish ways. I know every type of love better far than they. Well, if you want the thrill of love, I've been through the mill of love. Old love, new love, every love but true love. Love for sale. Appetizing young love for sale. Woo! If you want to buy my wares, follow me and climb the stairs. Love for while I shed love for sale. Oh yeah, and that love for sale, of course, is available on Etsy. Oh yeah. Oh. I want to let you know, Patrick, that I'm so grateful that you have me out here tonight. And once again, I want to thank everybody for coming down. Hi, Anna. So great to see you. You know what? I believe you're absolutely right, Anna. Every day. And it is for us. It absolutely is for us, for musicians, because my gosh, so much incredible music has been made by African-American composers. And what a thrill it is to be able to perform all of this music for you. And here is one of my favorite songs by Miss Ella Fitzgerald, of course, Shelly doing a little Ella. Let's build a stairway to the stars and climb that stairway to the stars with love beside us to fill the night with a song dedicated to you, Patrick. We'll hear the sound of violins out yonder where the blue begins. The moon will guide us as we go drifting along. Can we sail away on a lazy daisy pedal over the rim of the hill? Can't we sail away on a little dream, settle high on the crest of a thrill? Well, let's build a stairway to the stars, a lovely stairway to the stars. It would be heaven to climb to heaven with you. Can't we sail away on a lazy daisy pedal over the rim of the hill? Can't we sail away on a little dream, settle high on the crest of a thrill? Well, keep building a stairway to the stars, a lovely stairway to the stars. It would be heaven to climb to heaven with you. Now that's one thing I don't miss, my New York City friends, is all of those stairs. That's exactly right. Let's make a big toast to each and every one of you for coming on down. Sure do appreciate it. And I love talking to you guys down there in the comments. It's just such a thrill to be able to interact with people again. And here's a little song I'd like to dedicate, of course, to the wonderful Patrick. Now, Patrick, you and I have known each other on and off for quite some years. And we didn't really get together, with the exception of the last 2 or 3 years. And I've got to say, I have been so impressed by everything that you've done for the community, the jazz community, the dance community, the burlesque community. And you always find a way to bring all of these astounding artists together. And I really respect that. A lot of people would just want to have their own band and show off and talk about themselves, but not you, Patrick. You love to bring incredible people together. And I've met so many wonderful people through Prohibition Productions, and like Justin, we'd never worked together before. And Ron Wilkins, yes, I want to give a big shout out to him. I hope he's watching here tonight. And just so many incredible dancers, Jamie, Shannon, I mean, so many people. And of course, the wonderful audiences who come. And they're always thrilled to see you and see the band and hear live music. And of course, as soon as they get the chance, They like to get up and cut that rug. So you know what, Patrick? I can't help but loving you. Well, fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. I've gotta love one man till I die. I can't help falling in love with you. I can't help myself, everybody. Tell me he's lazy. No, he's fast. Tell me he's slow. I just said that. Tell me I'm crazy. Some call it loco. I can't help loving that man of mine. Let me know where you met Patrick in the comments. When he goes away after March 14th, that's a rainy day. And when he comes back, that day is fine. The sun will shine. Well, he can come home as late as can be. Home without him, it ain't no home to me. I can't help loving that man of mine. Oh, you are so welcome, Lauren. That's one of the things about doing these shows. I love to interact with people in the comments, and all of my shows are live because I want to be able to talk to you. Now, although we might not be together in person, you're always in my heart. And if I look through that little tiny hole, I can see each and every one of you. It's a little bit like, hello, I see Lorraine, I see Lauren, I see Patrick, I see Caesar. What show is that from, everybody? Some of you might be too young, but what was the show where the beautiful lady brought out a mirror and said hello to each and every child out there? That's right. Romper Room. Great job, Jasmine. New Year's Eve parties. That's great, Jenny. That's fantastic. What a wonderful time to be with Prohibition Productions on New Year's Eve. I mean, I honestly can't think of a better New Year's Eve. Great music, great dancing, great cocktails. Oh, yeah. I'm dirty. What can I say? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Now, listen, everybody. You had plenty money, 2021. You lost it all. And then where you run, why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo, Prohibition Productions. You're wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money that will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Well, get out of here and get me some Bitcoin too. Oh, yeah. I want to thank everybody for celebrating with us here tonight. Oh, hell, a virtual. That could be really good, Lorraine. That could be good. I could just give a link where people could print out their bingo cards, right? What do you think about that? And then maybe we can have a little tub thumping in the background, little banjo. I think that might work. And if those chickens are wandering around from door to door, I'll say, why don't you do right like some other chickens do? Just get out of here and get me some money too. Why don't you do right like some other men, like some other men do? Ah, yeah. Now, you know, it's not that I only want men to go out and do the right thing. Oh yeah, it's Bitcoin. Uh-huh. Thank you. Yeah, I like to put it in a little 1920, a little 2021. I mean, Bitcoin really seems to be the thing. We'll take Apple stock, we'll take Tesla stock, you know, and I am so thrilled to be here tonight because usually I do my own shows on Saturday night and I was going to do both shows, but I said to myself, you know, I think it's really important to be able to celebrate all different artists and help to sort of pull together. You know, it's easy for me because I do it all myself. You know, I sing, I do the music, I do everything. So I'm the only one that I really have to pay. So it's not so bad. But when you have big groups, it's really hard to be able to give everybody what they're worth to be paid. So I thought it would be really nice tonight if I sort of just did this one off. And this is the only show that I'm doing. I have one more song for you, Patrick, which I think is a really good song to end on. And the reason why, I know you guys are getting a lot of snow out there, and I think it's difficult to get excited about, you know, going outside and doing all of these things without a little motivation. And especially we're not able to go to the park and to busk. And so we're not able to make the kind of money that we're kind of used to. Okay. So I have got a little song for you right now that I'm, you know, this is live entertainment here. So, you know, how that works. I'm almost ready here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There it is. I knew I had it. And the reason why I picked this is that it was really wonderful to do this song with everybody there. I want to dedicate this to Dan, the clarinet man. Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Christoph. There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance before the fiddlers have fled. Gabe, I miss you. Before they ask us to pay the bill, and while we still have that chance, what are we gonna do, Jamie? Let's face the music and dance. Soon we'll be without that room. We'll be humming a different tune. And then there may be teardrops that fall. So while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance. Well, I want to thank you so much for having me on tonight. Everybody was so great, so great. They really brought their A game, just like that night train or the A train that you take all the way to Harlem. They face the music and dance, dance. They made the music so we could dance. Patrick, thank you for having me here tonight. I'm so grateful for all of you who came down to watch the show. Thank you so much, and don't forget to dance. Woo! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you in the back. Thank you to my dog. Thank you to my cat. Yes. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Oh, Shelly, thank you so much. What a treat to hear you and your magic and just all the things that you do. I think you've got a lot of new fans here. You should put your links in the chat. Some people were asking about that, about your shows. And so it's when is it happening again? How often do
Well,
you do?
here's the deal: is every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I only do it on the Face Libre. I do it on the Facebook Live. Yeah, and if you friend me before you come to the show, I have an iPad mini that's like 1,000 years old, so it cannot be updated to the newer versions. And in this version, I can see when people enter the room. So even if you don't say anything, I know you're there and I can give you a shout out. And Patrick, as you know, I can't do this in the other shows that we work together with because, you know, there's so many people. And I think quite a few people touched on it, that when you work with that many people, you know, you've really got to be tight. You can't just go off and do your thing, which is kind of my thing. And it's just in my shows, I do that. So somebody might throw out a name, or they'll say, you know, can you wish my brother happy birthday? Or do you know this song? And so I could be in the middle of a song and then do the lyrics to another song within that song. So I do a lot of improvisation as well. And through this, Patrick, I've got to say, I've gotten so much legitimate work because I had a friend, Zool Bailey. He's a phenomenal cellist, and he's the artistic director for Mesa Art Center in Arizona, the Sitka Jazz Festival, the Juneau Jazz Festival. There's one in New Mexico. I did one for the Northwest Bach Festival, and he just happened to come on one night and saw my Facebook Live, and because I have that really cool version of Facebook, I was like, hey, Zool, you know, I remember you. And something that was kind of funny is he's a gorgeous guy. So he's like a model too. And he was an actor on that show, Oz. Do you remember that show, Oz, about prison? And he played a cello player who murdered a violinist with the butt of his cello. So he stabbed her with that. But of course, because it's the movies, they let him bring his cello to prison, but it didn't have the stand. And in the very last episode of the last season, he got stabbed to death with his bow, which I thought was pretty darn cool. And so I called that out, and then he didn't say anything. And then I immediately got a text from him, and he was like, Shelly, call me as soon as you can. And I was like, oh shit. He's like all legit now. He's like, don't tell everybody I was wearing a wife beater and got stabbed by my cello bow. And so sure enough, he called and he said, listen, I've been doing a lot of these festivals and we're doing everything online. And he said, yours is the only one that is live. He said, the majority of people, you know, and it makes sense that they record themselves in a studio with a big grand piano or a string quartet, and then they send that in. And I've never done, since COVID, I've never done a show that was pre-recorded, not once. And I think that it's really great that now these other festivals are getting that chance. And something else too, Patrick, that I think is really important is that now people who could not see us before, maybe they have a disability, or maybe they have autistic children, or maybe they're caring for one of their elderly parents and they can't go out, they can't go anywhere. We are now exposing, oh, you like that? Exposing so many other people to our music and to our shows. And I know this for you, Casey. I know you said he was from California, right?
Washington, Tacoma.
Washington, yeah, same time zone, you know, which is funny because I have those world clocks.
I saw your post about that.
You saw that? So it's like LA, Arkansas, and New York. Not that glamorous, but it works. And, you know, these people from all over the United States are able to tune in and see a show that everybody's seeing in their real time, you know? So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that pivot that all of us are doing. How do we do our thing in this crazy new reality that we're in? And I'm just so glad to see you thriving. Like, it's not just that you're sort of like, you're thriving and you're doing things that you've always wanted to do, and you're taking it like next level. And I think that's fantastic. I really, really do. So Wednesdays and Saturdays, that's your shows?
Wednesdays and Saturdays on Facebook Live. It's just, Shelly Watson, NYC. It's the same for Instagram too. I'm 53, so I don't do the Insta a whole lot, much to the chagrin of many producers, so you won't find a lot of my stuff on there. And I do use Facebook Live mostly because of the interaction. And as you know, it's very difficult to do the music, do the light, do the video, do the mic, do the StreamYard, do the whatever it is. So, people are like, well, why don't you stream live too on YouTube and your face? And I was like, I need a virtual, assistant. You just can't do it all. It's really hard. So once again, Patrick, I mean, you could have done a lot of stuff for yourself. And I love you so much for always being community-based and wanting to, you're like the clown car of shows. It's like, how many more people can we fit in there? And hold on a second. Here, before we go, I've got a little somebody that wants to say hello. And oh my goodness. Here's Zelda. Here is Miss Zelda. And she, give that big shout out to Dawn, of course, Dawn Spiro. And I love that Zelda is here with me. She's having such a great time, smelling squirrels and eating possum poop.
And having a yard to run around in instead of being in an apartment. I mean, wow.
Huge yard, she loves it, but both of us, it was really hard to get used to the quiet because Patrick, in the movies, serial killers do not live in the city. They live in the country and they come out of the woods. Anything can happen. Oh, well, thank you again, Lauren, and thank you, Caesar and Lorraine and Jasmine and everybody who commented tonight. And of course, you too, Patrick. And, when we see each other, we'll see each other. And I want to thank everybody who was on the show tonight too, because just glorious. And everybody is as wonderful as the next. And we're all so appreciative and so loving of our brothers and sisters in arms right now. And I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, well, very well said. And Shelly, thank you so much for being part of the show and for jumping on and just doing what you do. And I'm just very happy to see you doing so well, and just keep on doing you. And everyone else, please tune in and check out her show on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And by the way, our show is done by the time your show starts normally, so you can do both if you're looking to
like I said, I was going to do 2 shows tonight, but it was important to me to give my focus to this show. So in case people were going to come, I mean, I did 2 show, like I did a huge 2.5-hour show with Company XIV, and then I would leave and go do another gig afterwards. So doing 2 gigs isn't an issue, but it just felt like it made it really special. Wanted to try to turn as much money as I could to you.
Well, in the future, they come to ours, then they go to yours. And it's just, it's awesome. I mean, I think it's how we all keep moving forward, and I can't wait to see more of what you're doing. So,
and one more thing that's really interesting is that there's I remember hearing all the time on all of the Turner Classic Movies. And, when they'd be like, yeah, kid, we got a show to do. Well, he can't do the show. He's on the dole. And I never knew what on the dole was. But now I'm on the dole, which is the Department of Labor. And I never knew that's what that was.
I didn't know.
Do you remember
either.
hearing that in those movies?
Totally.
Like,
oh
my gosh, sorry about that, Harry. Got to go on the dole. And here we are. So thank you for all the support. And I hope to see everybody soon.
Likewise. Well, please give it up one more time, Shelly Watson, live in Arkansas.
Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
All right. Well, man, Shelly Watson, so great to see her and to be on the show Wednesdays and Saturdays. Check her out. We've got one more segment. We're not quite done yet, but thank you again, Shelly, and we will see you again soon. And so up next, we are going to do our Lindy Kitchen, and then we're on to the after party. We've got 2 segments, 12 minutes of food by swing dancers and musicians and everything. What we do is we call this Lindy Kitchen. I found that a lot of dancers and musicians are really passionate about cooking, and it's like another way to get their creativity out into the world. So we alternate every other show. One is food, one is cocktails. Today is Lindy Kitchen, and I'm going to kick it off first with a segment that I put together about making a chicken stock and risotto, and then after that we have Olivia Lau and Gordon Au from the Grand Street Stompers, and they're doing a stomp along Grand Street, which they shot for us, about all the wonderful food places on Grand Street. So we're going to start that right now with Lindy Kitchen. Hey everybody, this is Patrick from Prohibition Productions, and today I'm going to be making risotto with bacon and mushroom and using a homemade chicken stock. I've become a big fan of making my own chicken stock recently. You can just use a lot of things that are in the fridge that are just not being used and make a chicken stock that's way better than what you can get in the store. And I also love risotto, and this recipe originally comes from my friend Giacomo, who was a ballet dancer I knew at the Berlin Staatsballett, and he's originally from Venice, so this is a family recipe that then I sort of had to adapt a little bit for the ingredients I could find here in the States. But it was way less complicated than I realized, and it's been fantastic. So let's get started with the chicken stock. First, get a big pot. I made an extra large portion this time, so I used 14 cups of water. And then you throw in the chicken, which is really just the leftover bones and things from a rotisserie chicken I had bought the week before and had already eaten through. And then I add a large onion, several cloves of garlic, and then anything else in the fridge that you might want to get rid of before it goes bad, like tomatoes or carrots or mushrooms. You can also use celery, ginger. Cut that up, throw that in there. It can be coarsely cut. Then we add some spices. Salt is the most important. Then pepper, basil. I usually add bay leaves, fennel seeds, oregano, rosemary, thyme, tarragon. Also a little bit of brown sugar, and then a hint of cayenne, cumin, nutmeg, and cloves. I really like a zesty, flavorful chicken stock. Then you cover it, let it cook for about an hour. Then you come back, taste it. Any other spices you need to add or adjust, usually salt is the most important thing to check for. Cover it again, let it simmer for another hour. Give it a taste. If it's good to go, you're all set. If you need to add anything else, let it cook for a little bit longer, maybe a half an hour. And then when it's done, you need to strain it, get rid of all the floating parts and bones and things like that. I usually separate part of it to freeze and then the other part for the risotto. I need about 6 cups for the risotto. And you put that in a small pot off to the side. So to get started on the risotto, you start with about a half pound or a little bit more of thick cut bacon. I get mine from Fico's down in the village. And once that's nice and crispy, set it aside. Then in a good sized soup pan, saute several cloves of garlic and onion in olive oil. When that's nice and golden, you add some chopped mushrooms and then throw in a little bit of bacon grease. Time to spice it with some salt, pepper, oregano, and thyme. Then crumble up the bacon, toss that in, as well as a little bit of brown sugar. Saute everything till it gets nice and amalgamated. This whole process takes about 25 minutes from when you start with the onion and garlic to this point. Now it's time to add the rice. I usually use about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of arborio rice. and then you pour it into the mixture, and you have to really mix it in. And what you're looking for is each grain to have a white eye in the middle and a little translucent on the edges. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Then you have a cup of white wine. It's important that it's kind of warm. I usually put it in the microwave for about 20-30 seconds because you don't want to startle the rice with too much cold wine. So you pour that in, let that cook down, give it a minute or two, and now you're ready for adding chicken stock. Our chicken stock is here off to the side. What you want to do is ladle in every 4 or 5 minutes. You want to keep it soupy. You want to keep mixing it in between and let it cook for a few minutes. Then when it needs a little bit more, put in another ladle. This process maybe takes a half hour or so. Once it starts to get al dente and it's almost ready, put in your last ladle, let it cook down to the consistency that you need, because it's basically what you want it to look like on the plate. Not too liquidy, not too dry, a little bit al dente. Then garnish it, a little salt, pepper, pecorino romano, cheese. I'm particularly fond of locatelli, and enjoy. All right, that is our risotto. And just wanted to mention that the chicken that I've been using is really just a rotisserie chicken. You eat it, and when it's done, you make stock with it. It's that easy. It's very inexpensive. So our next and last segment for Lindy Kitchen was put together by Olivia Lau and Gordon Au, who is the band leader for the Grand Street Stompers. And they came up with this clever idea. They did basically a stomp through Grand Street just this past last Sunday, I think, when it was like super, super cold. They went out and just like kind of walked down Grand Street and checked out a bunch of spots. So here we go with Olivia and Gordon doing the Grand Street Stomp.
Hello, I'm here with Gordon Au from the Grand Street Stompers, and we are on Grand Street stomping along today on a sort of walking food shopping tour. So we're gonna hit our first place, which is Ferrara's Bakery on Grand Street. Yeah, it's a classic place, very good lit signage, and we're gonna go in. Here we have a couple of delicious cannolis from Ferrara's. All right, Gordon. Yes, you can see some of their other treats here. Yes, this is the best way to start off a food crawl, is dessert first.
I have a little bit of family history that dates back to New York, not the Manhattan Chinatown, but I had a distant aunt who ran a pasta producing factory in the greater New York City, and they shipped wholesale to a bunch of restaurants, including in Little Italy and in Chinatown. I don't know where the factory was located, so I feel a little bit connected to the ravioli company.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're gonna check it out.
Yeah. So Grand Street and Mulberry is sort of like the intersection of Little Italy and Chinatown now. I mean, like, obviously decades ago it was mostly Italian Americans here. So Mulberry Street now is sort of the remaining remnant of a vibrant Italian American community. And here on Grand and Mulberry, we've got the oldest cheese shop in America. Apparently they also make sandwiches, which is great. And the Piemonte Ravioli Company, which is actually where I get all of my ravioli. They have like really good lobster ravioli with lots of stuffing. And you can see like now they have like all these pretty colors, very Instagrammable. Yeah, so coming up is Banh Mi Saigon, which is, as you can see, a very popular banh mi spot. There's a line of people waiting on the coldest day of the year. And then this is actually a place that's near and dear to my heart, is DePaulo's. Used to be a Latericia, which means they primarily sell cheese, but now they also sell like Italian cured meats, pasta. It's essentially like the original Italy for me. So I remember coming here as a kid with my mom just to get like ham and cheese for school lunches. But they've since expanded. They have sort of a winery next door. Alright, so this is Yaya Tea on the corner of Grand and Mott, and actually this was the original DePaulo location. They moved across the street in like 2002. So Yaya Tea, they have some really good Japanese onigiri, and we're gonna go in and try some. Gordon, you got the
Spam onigiri with a cute label and everything.
Very nice.
So what Olivia was saying about as a child getting the ham and cheese for sandwiches at the Apollos there, for Japanese and Japanese Americans, onigiri or these rice balls usually wrapped in seaweed is the thing that you can think of as being very sandwich-like. Like we'd use it for packed lunches back in the olden days, like travelers would carry the rice balls or soldiers would carry them. And in the current incarnation, wrapped in seaweed, they're about 250 years old. Meanwhile, just the rice balls themselves date back to the 1st century of the Common Era. So the rice balls themselves significantly older than America. But here, of course, with Spam. Do you want to talk about Spam?
So I'll talk about Spam because I freaking love Spam. Spam was invented by Americans, and it essentially became very popular in parts of Asia like Japan, Korea, the Philippines, other Pacific islands like Guam, Samoa, and Hawaii because of Americans, and specifically American soldiers, bringing Spam over into those areas during the wars and occupations of the ports in the Pacific. So thank you, the U.S. government, U.S. Army, for bringing delicious Spam over. So we just walked down the block on Grand Street to 218 Restaurant, where we're gonna get some delicious Cantonese roast meats.
See, they make their own char siu.
Yeah, they make their own char siu, roast duck, chicken, crispy roast pork. And also, on the weekdays, they do this lunch special. So you can get like a full entree, rice, and soup for less than $8. Alright, so we are at Double Crispy Bakery on Grand Street. Just looking at the plethora of Chinese baked goods. Oh my god, they have husband cakes. Yes, so these are wife cake, lo po bang, and husband cake, which I don't know the Chinese name for those are, but there's like some story that goes with these, like the husband wanted to show the wife how much he loved her, and so he made her this sweet cake to show how sweet he thought she was. The last stop for the day is Aqua Best, which is a pretty awesome seafood market here on Grand Street. So you're gonna take a look inside. So this is just a great place to get fresh seafood, frozen seafood. Well, that is we're walking to our Grand Street. What do you think, Gordon?
Very nice. What variety, so many tasty foods. A lot of history here.
Yes, lots. So definitely come down Grand Street, Chinatown, Little Italy.
Not bad.
All right, that looked fantastic. Thank you so much to Olivia Lau and Gordon Au for doing the Grand Street Stomp, and I have definitely got to check out the couple of those spots. The the ravioli place. I'm very curious about that. I haven't actually. I remember going to Ferrara as a kid, and I'm curious about those cannolis versus the Rocco's cannolis. Might need to taste test that. And DePaulo's. The last time I was in there, they were literally making fresh mozzarella, and you could get it warm. And so if you're down there, go grab some mozzarella. Go walk down Grand Street, do a stomp. And thank you guys for doing that. So that is Lindy Kitchen. And we are at the end of the show. So what that means is that we're going to be doing a little after party. Obviously, we're running a little bit late today. We just got caught up talking with all these wonderful people. But what we're going to do is we're going to play maybe a few tunes, go to about 10 o'clock. If you want to join on the dance party, let us know on the chat here on Zoom, and I will add you in through the video. And then we can bring you in there, do some dancing, and we are back in 2 weeks. If you haven't done so already, you can send a donation through PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle, and we'll be doing accepting donations for this show and for this cast all the way through next Sunday, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. But we are back here on February 20th, 2 weeks from tonight. We've got Danny Giannacucci and the Revisionists, who we also shot in Prospect Park. We've got the Blue Vipers of Brooklyn. We've got Drew Nugent playing some live ragtime from Philly. And we're also bringing Will Friedwald, the jazz critic. He's going to do a clip joint. And we've also got Cocktails by Katie Out and her new group, Katie Sips. And then we've got DJ Odysseus Baylor. That is all February 20th. Then March 6th, we've got Professor Cunningham and his Old School. We're doing another Lindy Kitchen. And then March 20th, Gunhild Carling and that fantastic barbershop quartet, Mad Hatton. So we got lots of great shows coming up every other Saturday. If you're not on our Prohibition Productions mailing list, you can join that at our website or through Facebook. So thank you again to all of our performers. Just huge shout out to Casey MacGill, DeWitt Fleming Jr., Jennie Harney-Fleming, Mimi and the Pod Brothers, and Shelly Watson, as well as Olivia Lau and Gordon Au. And my name is Patrick from Prohibition Productions. I'm going to be also your DJ tonight. So what I'm going to do is get some tunes going on, and if you would like to join the after party, just send us a note in the chat and we will go from there. So I'm going to open this up to our gallery view, and then we will see you next time.
Like mine, boy. Oh, then you're right in it, right in New Orleans.